are you all? I hope you're still doing well. Earlier today, actually, while I was uploading the last video that I uploaded, something happened, and I'll show you what happened right now. So this was Kayleigh McEnany basically giving a press briefing, and she was cut off, not by CNN, not by MSNBC, but by Fox News. Let me play you the clip now.
This election is not over. Far from it. We have only begun the process of obtaining an accurate, honest vote count. We are fighting for the rights of all Americans who want to have faith and confidence not only in this election, but in the many elections to come. Voters in some counties were allowed to cure their ballots, whereas voters in other counties were not. What Pennsylvania has done is provide a case study into how to tip the scales of an election to functionally favor the Democrat Party. This has gone on nationwide. And I'll leave you with this. In DNC versus Wisconsin State Legislature, in another attempt to count late ballots that arrived after the election, Justice Gorsuch wrote, "Nothing in our founding document contemplates the kind of judicial intervention that took place here, nor is there precedent for it in 230 years of the court's decisions." He went on to say, "No one doubts that conducting a national election amid a pandemic poses serious challenges. But none of that means individual judges may improvise with their own election rules in place of those the people's representatives have adopted." They have taken a global pandemic and turned it into a nationwide electoral epidemic. They have taken, based on what they call a natural disaster, they have used that and turned this into a national disaster. And with that, I'll turn it over to Matt Morgan, General Counsel for the campaign.
Look, we don't know if there actually was fraud. We have a lot of allegations, but we don't know. Nothing has gone through court yet. But the clear bias in the media is something that is incredibly hard to ignore. We've heard about Russian collusion for 3.5 years, and no one was ever cut off for those allegations. And it's just, I think it's pretty normal and just for an American citizen to be sitting at home and wondering what in the heck is going on, especially when people like Kayleigh McEnany are being cut off and then stories like this are coming out. So I'm going to read you 2 stories, and I just want to make sure I'm not saying that any of these things are true, but these are concerns. This is happening, and this is news, and this is what is going on right now. Again, we don't know if these allegations are true, but these are things that are happening that we should be aware of, right? Okay, so this came out in the Daily Wire today, right after Kayleigh was cut off. Breaking: AG Barr authorizes federal prosecutors to pursue substantial allegations of voting irregularities, report says. So this is what's happening with that. Attorney General William Barr has reportedly authorized federal prosecutors to pursue substantial allegations of voting irregularities from the 2020 election before results are certified. The Associated Press reported that Barr said in a memo to U.S. Attorney that investigations may be conducted if there are clear and apparently credible allegations of irregularities that, if true, could potentially impact the outcome of a federal election in an individual state. So that is what's happening right now. We don't know if these allegations are true, but we do know that they exist. So there's one more story. GOP senators call on Georgia's Secretary of State to resign over unacceptable handling of election. He responds. So this is basically saying that in several states there are a lot of controversies going on about the election and the credibility of the election. And it's just hard to imagine that simply questioning something is reason for being censored or cut off or told that you are being a disgrace to the democracy of America, which is what we've been seeing for several days now. So let's see, I'll read you a little bit of this story. This is in quotations. The management of the Georgia elections has become an embarrassment for our state. Georgians are outraged, and rightly so. We have been clear from the beginning. Every legal vote cast should be counted, and any illegal votes must not. And there must be transparency and uniformity in the counting process. This isn't hard. This isn't partisan. This is American, the senator said. While blame certainly lies elsewhere as well, the buck ultimately stops with the Secretary of State. The mismanagement and lack of transparency from the Secretary of State is unacceptable. Honest elections are paramount to the foundations of our democracy, the senators continue. These are the GOP senators in Georgia. The Secretary of State has failed to deliver honest and transparent elections, has failed the people of Georgia, and should step down immediately. Raffensperger hit back at the senators defending his record and accusing Loeffler and Perdue, who are both facing runoff elections since neither is likely to clear 50% of the vote, of playing politics. Let me start by saying that this is not going to happen. The voters of Georgia hired me, and the voters will not be the one to fire me, Raffensperger, that's who they're challenging, said in a statement. I know emotions are running high. Politics are involved in everything right now. If I was Senator Perdue, I would be irritated. I was in a runoff, and both senators and I are unhappy with the potential outcome for our president. The Secretary of State asserted that Georgia voters generally followed the law and the elections went smoothly overall. Were there discrepancies in the vote count and reports of fraud? Raffensperger office is investigating. He said, as a Republican, I am concerned about Republicans keeping the U.S. Senate. I recommend that Senators Loeffler and Perdue start focusing on that. Again, this is one more thing that is diverting attention. This is one more reason why people are a bit skeptical. Let me know what you guys think. It got really dark and weird in here since I was filming. That's just my lighting. The time changed. But again, let me know what you think about everything, where your head is at, and have a wonderful day.